And a big victory for the GOP this week, as well as in certain areas of the country, specifically Republican Glenn Youngkin defeating Democrat Terry McAuliffe in the race for Virginia governor. The victory ending a long losing streak for Virginia Republicans who have not notched a statewide election win since 2009. Virginia Governor-elect Glenn Youngkin joins me right now live. Governor-elect, great to have you. Thanks very much for being here, and congratulations.
Maria, thank you for having me. You know, we launched our campaign on your show, so thank you for having me back this morning. It means a ton. We've got a big agenda. We started working yesterday on our transition, and there's a lot to do, and I'm really looking forward to getting to work.
And what a campaign it has been. You really zeroed in on what Virginians wanted to see and what was important to them. Governor-elect, tell us a little about that agenda. The other day I heard you say we are going to make sure to engage with parents. We are going to make sure to give kids the tools to have them running strong, running fast. What are those tools? How will you change the education framework in Virginia?
Well, we're going to raise expectations in our schools. They've been watered down over time, and children should be held to high standards, not low standards. Of course, we have to help those that might need help. We're going to fund in the largest education budget in the history of Virginia. We need to raise teacher salaries. We got to fund into facilities. We're going to fund into our special education programs. You know, Virginia's kids with disabilities have really suffered during this pandemic, but we're going to launch an aggressive charter school program as well. You know, Virginia has had a very, very poor record in charter schools and providing any choice within our public school system. So we're going to launch right out of the box 20 charter schools that are going to provide parents choice within the public school system. And then our curriculum is going to be absolutely focused on making sure we're getting the political rhetoric out of the classroom and really focused on how to prepare our kids to how to think as opposed to what to think. So much of this is engaging with parents. And we're going to launch a task force in December. I will have named a new Secretary of Education and a new state superintendent of our schools by then. And we're going to begin to engage with parents. We're going to engage with educators, administrators, and students. And oh, by the way, we're going to need to engage with some law enforcement officials to make sure that our schools are safe as well. We've just seen violence increase in the schools particularly, and so we've got a big agenda. We've got to get started, and I tell you, Maria, January 15th can't come fast enough.
That is just wonderful news. But at the same time, Glenn, you've got a bureaucracy to deal with, the bureaucracy of the schools. How are you going to wean that bureaucracy off of the radical ideas? You know, even when you look at other states, it's tough to deal with any change from the union standpoint. So give us your sense of the plan of weaning those radical ideas out of the bureaucracy.
Well, I think it starts first with the leadership that we're going to appoint, and then it really moves on to engaging at the grassroots level with teachers and school administrators and parents. And I've been very clear, parents are going to be engaged in their schools, and we're going to make sure that we have a really effective communication loop with parents so that we can take input. There's a new way of thinking about engaging with parents that we're gonna press forward with, and it all starts with this task force that we're gonna name in December. By the way, we're being overwhelmed by folks that want to be engaged, and that's such a great sign. I mean, I'd be really concerned if we were talking about being engaged with parents and we didn't have anybody who wanted to be engaged. Well, what this election really demonstrated is that education is not a political issue. It is a fundamental concern of parents from all parts of the political spectrum. We brought together Democrats, Republicans, and independents, folks from all walks of life, around this fundamental desire for their children to have a great education. And if we're going to prepare the workforce of the future for Virginia, we're going to get our economy growing. You know, Virginia's economy has been stalled out. We're going to get it moving, and the jobs of the future are going to require a whole new approach to K through 12 education. And these charter schools are going to be innovation charter schools. We're partnering with universities. We're going to partner with employers to make sure we have a curriculum that prepares our kids either for college or for careers. This is, I think, a real opportunity for us to make a big step function change in how we think about K through 12 education.
And I love the fact that you're talking innovation, technology, giving kids the tools that they need. I've watched you in business, and that's what it is in business. You get the technology and the tools you need to execute. Tell us what you learned running Carlisle or in business, identifying growth stories, and how you can tap into that and take it to Richmond.
Well, one of the big opportunities for us is to identify industries that Virginia should be incredibly competitive in, and can provide opportunities for outsized growth. And when we think about the opportunity in high tech and technology and healthcare and logistics, in pharmaceuticals, in the marine industry, we've got great foundational capabilities. But we have to press forward and turn them into competitive advantage so we can create some of the real centers of excellence, not just in the Mid-Atlantic, but around the world. And this is one of the great opportunities for us. That requires us to have an education system that's fully engaged. That requires us to have a government that's fully engaged, and business. And so here we are going to bring together all the things that I have spent 30 years doing in our leadership team next year.
Yes, and you've got a great team with you as well. Look, we're talking about this GOP sweep that we saw this week. It was not just the governor, but you also took an incredible number of seats within the House in Virginia. We also have this close race in New Jersey. What do you think this says about the country? Is there a shift going on? Are people rejecting these woke policies, not just Virginia, but beyond?
Well, just starting with Virginia, Maria, yeah, we took back our House of Delegates, and that was a big statement. And I think this just reflects the fact that the kitchen table issues of low taxes and great schools and safe communities, and, oh, by the way, a growing economy with job opportunities, these kitchen table issues had been pushed to the background. And voters in Virginia said, no, these are the most important topics for us. And that's why, as we laid out our agenda, we focused on those things that are most important to get done. And I do believe that folks have gotten distracted about how to deliver for those that elect us to go serve them. And so we're going to get our taxes down. We're going to make sure our schools are going to be excellent. We're going to make sure our communities are safe, and we have a growing economy with great jobs for people. And, it doesn't sound so difficult, Maria, but this is what voters in Virginia, and I think voters around the nation, are speaking very loudly about, which is this is what we want from our government. And please stop getting distracted on all these other topics. Focus on the things that will improve our lives, and that's what we're going to do here in Virginia. And it's going to be an exciting first day for us on January 15th.
It's a great sentiment. Do you have any advice, Governor-elect, for those people who are campaigning or hoping for re-election in the GOP come 2022? A lot of people looking at your race, the Virginia race, as perhaps a telltale of what we will see in 2022 and 2024. What can you tell those people who are getting ready for their own campaigns?
Well, I think most importantly, listen to your customers. And your customers in this case are the people I'm going to go work for. I've got 8.5 million bosses in Virginia now. And as I went around during this campaign and traveled more than I ever thought that a candidate could, we covered 100,000 miles plus and listened to tens of thousands of voters. I listened to them. And what I heard over and over again is these are the issues that are most important for us. It's too expensive here. Let's get the cost of living down. I need to make sure we have good job opportunities. I'm worried about our schools, and our communities aren't safe. And by the way, these are things that I think we can come together and go fix. I spent most of my time yesterday on the phone talking to leadership from the Democrat side of Virginia's legislatures. And we were in our transition office yesterday getting ready to go. This is about delivering for Virginians. And so my advice to folks is listen to your customers, and our customers are the voters.
Did you have any regrets about the campaign? Did it go exactly as you expected?
Well, Maria, I've never done this before, so my expectations were that we would run a campaign that would communicate clearly what we're going to do. We would stand for the things that we think are most important. I felt like we ran a positive campaign that was expressing a vision for the future. We stayed away from being negative and divisive, and we brought people together. And I was most encouraged by the fact that we brought together folks from all political walks of life. We had Republicans, yes, we unified the Republican Party, but we won the independent vote in a big way. We had Democrats walk across the aisle. We were supported by the minority communities in a big way. We had women come back to the Republican Party. I mean, this was a big opportunity for us to really talk about the future and bringing folks together. And that's why I was so encouraged by the outcome on early Wednesday morning, Tuesday night, because I think it reflects a way to think about the future and bringing people together as opposed to the divisive politics of the past. And I think Virginians just wholesale rejected it. And I think that was the most encouraging part of this entire process.
Well, you sure did, and it was obviously a wonderful campaign, bringing in independence, which was so important. So much so, Governor-elect, now you saw the internet, your name is being floated as a potential candidate for the presidential election, whether it's 24 or 28, less than a day after your victory. A lot of people say you're going all the way. Are you in politics for the long haul? You see yourself running for president at some point?
Maria, I've got a big job ahead of me, which is to get Virginia moving. That's where I'm focused. I hadn't even thought about any of that, and I am 100% committed to serving Virginians as a governor for the next 4 years, and we are going to make a big difference in the future of Virginia. But we're going to do it together. I've said over and over again, this is an opportunity to really express a redefinition of the role of a governor, which is to go work for 8.5 million Virginians. And I asked everybody in this Commonwealth, I asked over and over, hire me to go work for you, and we're going to get a lot done. And so the next 4 years is going to be incredibly exciting. I can't wait to get to work. We've already started, as I said, getting our transition team moving. And this is going to be a very, very exciting 4 years for all Virginians, I hope.
Well, I know all of Virginians are rooting you on, and we are also rooting you on. Governor-elect, good to have you this morning. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll be watching.
Maria, thank you so much. And again, thanks for starting all this with me and having me back this morning. It's great to be with you.
And to you, Governor-elect Glenn Youngkin joining us this morning. Thank you, sir.